Have you ever felt like your life follows a strange pattern, almost as if certain experiences were destined to happen? Moments of joy and sorrow, unexpected turns, people who enter and exit your life as if scripted by some unseen force. And yet, deep inside, you wonder, is this all just coincidence? Or is there a hidden message guiding my path? What if I told you that the very first letter of your name holds a secret key to understanding who you truly are? It might sound unbelievable, but according to Buddhist wisdom, nothing in life happens by chance. The choices you make, the emotions you feel, and even the name you carry are not random. Every detail, especially your name, carries an energetic vibration that influences your personality, your relationships, and even your karmic lessons. Now, imagine this. You're wandering through the misty mountains of Tibet, the cold air brushing against your skin. The world is silent except for the sound of your footsteps crunching against the sacred ground. You've traveled far, seeking answers to the deepest questions of life. Who am I? What is my purpose? After days of walking, you finally arrive at a secluded monastery. Ancient stone walls stand tall before you, covered in vines, whispering tales of centuries past. The scent of burning incense lingers in the air, blending with the crisp mountain breeze. As you step inside, you are greeted by a wise Buddhist monk, his presence calm yet commanding. His eyes, deep, filled with centuries of knowledge, study you for a moment before he speaks. "What is your name?" he asks. You hesitate for a second before answering. It's just a name, you think, nothing extraordinary, but as soon as the words leave your lips, the monk's expression changes. He smiles knowingly, as if he has just uncovered a hidden truth. "Ah," he says softly, "your journey has already been written in the vibration of your name." A shiver runs down your spine. What could he mean? Could it be that your name, something you've carried your whole life without much thought, actually holds a message from the universe, one that has been guiding you all along? At that moment, a deep realization washes over you. Your name is not just an identity. It is a key, a map, a whisper from the cosmos waiting to be deciphered. And that's exactly what we're going to explore today. Stay with me until the end of this video, and you may never look at your name the same way again. A long time ago, in the ancient lands of India, there lived a young warrior named Arjuna. Born into a noble family, he was trained from childhood to be a great fighter, a leader, and a protector. His hands were skilled with the bow, his reflexes sharp, his mind disciplined in the art of war. From the outside, he was everything a warrior should be. Yet, deep within, a silent question lingered in his heart. Was he truly meant for battle? Was the path of a warrior his destiny? Or was there something more? Arjuna had always been taught that a warrior's duty was to fight with honor, to defend his kingdom, and to uphold the laws of righteousness. But there were moments, quiet moments, in the dead of night, when he wondered if his sword and his arrows were truly the answer. Was strength only measured in battle? Could there be a greater purpose beyond war? One day, burdened by these thoughts, Arjuna set out on a journey. He had heard of a distant monastery, nestled high in the mountains, where a great Buddhist teacher resided. This teacher, it was said, could see beyond the illusions of the world and into the true nature of the soul. Determined to seek clarity, Arjuna left behind the grandeur of his palace and ventured alone through the wilderness. The path was long and unforgiving, treacherous cliffs, winding roads, and the endless whispers of the wind. Yet he pressed on, driven by a desire to uncover the truth about himself. Finally, after days of walking, he reached the monastery. Its ancient walls stood tall against the sky, worn by time yet filled with a profound stillness. As he stepped inside, the scent of sandalwood and burning incense filled the air, and the sound of monks chanting in deep, rhythmic harmony resonated through the halls. At the heart of the monastery sat an elderly monk, his robes simple, his posture unshaken, as though he himself were rooted into the earth. There was something different about him, something beyond wisdom. His presence alone carried the weight of centuries. As Arjuna approached, the monk raised his gaze. locking eyes with the young warrior. "What is your name?" he asked, his voice calm yet piercing. Arjuna hesitated for a moment. It was a simple question, one he had answered countless times before. Yet standing before this man, he felt as if his name was about to reveal something he had never considered. "Arjuna," he finally answered. The monk nodded slowly, as if turning the name over in his mind, feeling the vibrations it carried. Then, with a knowing smile, he said, "Your name is not just a sound. It carries the energy of your past, your present, and your future. The first letter of your name, A, is powerful. It signifies a leader, a pioneer, one who takes the first step. But with this gift comes a great responsibility, the burden of choosing wisely." Arjuna felt his breath catch. His whole life, he had been told he was destined for war, that his strength lay in battle, that his duty was to conquer and protect. Yet here was a man, a teacher, a seer, telling him that his true challenge was not in the battlefield, but in the choices he made. The monk continued, "You have always been taught that strength comes from the sword, that a warrior must fight to prove his worth. But tell me, Arjuna, is there not another kind of battle? A battle fought not with weapons, but with wisdom, not with force, but with understanding." For the first time, Arjuna saw a different truth. Perhaps his greatest strength was not in his ability to fight, but in his ability to think, to learn, to lead with wisdom rather than force. The monk gestured to a nearby tree, its branches stretching toward the sky. "Look at this tree. It stands tall, strong, unmoving, and yet, when the storm comes, it does not break. Do you know why?" Arjuna shook his head. "Because it bends." The monk's voice was gentle but firm. "It does not resist the wind. It flows with it. True strength is not rigid. It is adaptable. It is not about control, but about knowing when to stand firm and when to yield. That is the wisdom of leadership. And that, Arjuna, is the lesson of your name." A realization dawned upon Arjuna. He had spent his whole life preparing for war, believing that his strength lay in his weapons. But now, he understood, his real power lay in his mind, in his ability to guide, to protect not just with force, but with wisdom. This moment changed the course of his life forever. From that day on, he no longer fought simply to conquer. He fought to protect. He fought for peace. He fought with a newfound understanding that a true leader is not one who rules with fear, but one who inspires with wisdom. And in that realization, he finally found his true purpose. Now, what about you? What does your name reveal about you? Buddhism teaches that names are more than mere labels. They're energetic signatures that shape our existence. Every sound carries a vibration, and the first letter of your name acts like a compass, guiding you toward your strengths, challenges, and karmic lessons. Some names echo leadership, while others whisper introspection. Some radiate resilience, while others hum with compassion. The first letter of your name is not an accident. It is a reflection of the energy you bring into the world. So, let's explore what your first letter might reveal about you. Letter A, the leader, the pioneer. The letter A is the energy of beginnings, leadership, and action. It represents those who step forward before anyone else, who take on challenges with courage, and who are driven by a deep sense of purpose. Think of Arjuna, the warrior we spoke of earlier. His name, beginning with A, held the burden of responsibility, not just to fight, but to choose his battles wisely. If your name starts with A, you likely have a natural sense of leadership. You are not afraid to take charge, initiate change, and break new ground. But with this comes a challenge, the test of humility. Do you lead with wisdom, or do you let your ambition consume you? Do you inspire others, or do you push too hard? The lesson of A is to balance action with awareness, strength with humility, and drive with compassion. Letter S, the seeker, the philosopher. The letter S vibrates with the energy of wisdom, introspection, and spiritual curiosity. It is the energy of seeking answers, of questioning everything, of diving deep into the mysteries of life. Who better represents S than Siddhartha Gautama, who would later become the Buddha? His name carried the energy of a seeker, one who left behind wealth, privilege, and comfort to find the truth. If your name begins with S, you are likely a deep thinker, drawn to philosophy, spirituality, and knowledge. But your greatest challenge, not isolating yourself in your search for wisdom. Do you overthink things instead of living in the moment? Do you seek understanding at the cost of human connection? The lesson of S is to share your wisdom with the world, rather than keeping it locked within. Blank, underscore, blank. Letter R, the river, the transformer. The letter R carries the energy of resilience and transformation. If your name starts with R, your soul moves like a river, always flowing, always evolving, never stagnant. People with this initial are often shaped by change. They go through challenges, obstacles, and setbacks, but like water, they find a way forward. Think of Rumi, the great Persian poet and Sufi mystic. His name carried the essence of inner transformation. His words still move hearts centuries after his passing. But those with R in their names must learn patience. Do you trust the timing of life? Or do you fight against the current? Do you embrace change? Or do you resist it out of fear? The lesson of R is to surrender to life's natural flow, knowing that even when the path is unclear, you are exactly where you need to be. Blank, underscore, blank. Letter M, the guardian, the nurturer. The letter M vibrates with deep emotional energy, protection, and care. People with this initial are natural nurturers. They protect, they heal, they hold others close. Think of Mother Teresa, her name beginning with M embodying compassion, service, and selflessness. If your name begins with M, you likely have a strong connection to family, friends, and those in need. You take on responsibility for others, often putting their needs before your own. But this can also become a burden. Do you allow yourself to receive care? Or do you only give? Do you trust others to handle their own struggles? Or do you try to carry everything yourself? The lesson of M is learning to let go, to trust, and to care for yourself as much as you care for others. Letter T, the pillar, the balancer. The letter T symbolizes balance, stability, and responsibility. People with this initial often act as pillars of strength in their families and communities. They are the ones others turn to for support, wisdom, and reliability. Think of Thien Hat Hanh, the great Buddhist monk whose teachings on mindfulness and balance have touched millions. His name carried the energy of peace and grounded wisdom. If your name begins with T, you likely have a strong sense of duty and justice. You take your responsibilities seriously and strive to bring harmony to those around you. But the challenge, self-care. Do you take on too much responsibility, neglecting your own well-being? Do you find balance, or are you constantly trying to keep everything together? The lesson of T is learning that true balance begins within. You cannot support others if you are not first grounded in yourself. Letter E, the explorer, the communicator. The letter E vibrates with the energy of freedom, expression, and curiosity. People with this initial are natural adventurers, always seeking new experiences, ideas, and conversations. Think of Einstein, whose name carried the energy of endless curiosity and groundbreaking discoveries. He never stopped exploring his mind, his theories, his understanding of the universe. If your name begins with E, you likely have a restless energy, always wanting to learn, express, and discover. You are a storyteller, a thinker, a wanderer. But your challenge, focusing your energy. Do you jump from one thing to another, never truly finishing? Do you seek adventure at the cost of stability? The lesson of E is learning to ground your energy, to focus, and to appreciate the present instead of always chasing the next horizon. Each letter holds a different vibration. Now, think about your own name. What does its first letter reveal about you? Some letters carry the energy of leadership, others the wisdom of introspection. Some symbolize compassion, others strength in transformation. But here is the greatest lesson. Your name is not your destiny. It is a reflection of energy, but you decide how to embody it. You are not bound by the vibration of your name. Instead, you are given a path, a lesson, a challenge, one that you can embrace or reshape as you choose. So, I ask you, what is your name, and what will you do with the energy it carries? There is a Zen story about a monk named Ryokan, who lived in a small hut at the foot of a mountain. He was known for his simplicity and his deep connection to the world around him. His hut was humble, nothing more than a small, thatched roof and a simple bamboo mat. His belongings were few, mostly just the essentials needed for his quiet, solitary life. One evening, as Ryokan sat in peaceful meditation, a thief crept into his hut. The thief had heard rumors of the monk's renown and believed that, like many monks, Ryokan might have hidden treasures, gold, relics, or valuable possessions. He carefully entered the hut, his eyes scanning for anything he could steal. However, to his surprise, he found nothing, no treasures, no riches, just Ryokan sitting calmly, unaware of the thief's presence. The thief, frustrated and confused by the lack of valuables, stood in silence for a moment, pondering what to do next. He then hesitated, feeling the deep sense of failure for having entered the hut with the expectation of wealth. But Ryokan, without missing a beat, turned to the thief with a warm smile and said, "If only I could give you the moon as well." The thief was taken aback. What did this humble monk mean? His words were not those of anger or fear, but of compassion and understanding. The thief stood still, his heart conflicted with guilt and shame. He had come seeking material wealth, but now he was confronted with something much more powerful: kindness, generosity, and an invitation to see beyond the physical world. Ashamed and confused by the monk's response, the thief fled into the night, leaving behind his stolen intentions and the uneaten treasures he had hoped to find. What does this story have to do with names? The name Ryokan means good and generous in Japanese. It is a name filled with the essence of compassion and selflessness. Ryokan did not need gold or jewels to embody the meaning of his name. In fact, his actions, not his possessions, were the true embodiment of his name. Through his response to the thief, Ryokan lived up to the meaning of his name, offering something far more valuable than material wealth: wisdom and kindness. This story teaches us an important lesson about the power of names. A name is not just something given to us, it is something we live up to. Ryokan did not let his name simply be a label or a title. He embodied its meaning with every act of kindness, humility, and generosity. His name was not an ornament or a decoration, it was a guiding force in his life, pushing him to reflect the virtues that his name carried. But here's the deeper lesson: the power of a name is not in its letters but in the story we choose to create with it. Think about your own name. What does it mean? Perhaps it's a name that reflects your culture, your family, or a cherished ancestor. But beyond that, what story do you tell with your name? When you introduce yourself, you bring your name to life. Your actions, your words, and the way you live each day write the story that others will remember. In the same way that Ryokan's name was synonymous with generosity and peace, your name carries the energy you choose to give it. Just like the thief, we may spend our lives searching for something external, thinking that wealth, possessions, or recognition are the true markers of success. But in the end, the real treasure lies not in what we accumulate, but in how we embody the deeper meaning of our name. It's not the material things we have that define us, it's the way we live and treat others, the wisdom we share, and the love we give. So, when you hear your name, think about the energy it carries. Let it inspire you to live up to its potential, just as Ryokan did with his simple yet profound name. Your name is more than just a label, it is the story of your life, waiting to be written. What story does your name tell? So now, think about your own name. What does it mean to you? Buddhism teaches that while our names may hint at our destiny, it is ultimately our actions that shape who we truly become. A name is not merely a word, but a reflection of the energy we carry into the world. It can be a guide, a reminder, a source of inspiration, but only if we choose to live in alignment with it. Instead of just wondering about your name's meaning, ask yourself, how can I embody the best version of what my name represents? How can I use my name's energy to bring wisdom, kindness, and purpose into my life? The truth is, names are not defined by their letters alone. They are defined by the choices we make and the way we live our lives. The first letter, the vibrations it carries, may offer insights into our strengths and challenges, but it is our actions that breathe life into those qualities. You may have a name that means brave, or wise, or compassionate, but do you show courage when faced with challenges? Do you use your wisdom to guide others? Or do you keep it to yourself? Do you express compassion in your actions? Or is it merely something you hope others will see in you? In the end, it's not the name that defines us, it's what we do with it. We have the power to shape our story, to live out the meaning behind our name, and to leave a legacy that reflects who we truly are. Now, let me ask you one last time. What is your name? Take a moment to reflect on this question. Think about how you can live in alignment with the deepest meanings of your name and let it guide you to become the best version of yourself. If this message resonated with you, share your thoughts in the comments below. And if you want more insights like this, don't forget to like, subscribe, and continue this journey of self-discovery with me. Thank you for watching. Namaste.